Simple and everything is very good. Wide receiver.
Oh, man. Hey, I took 2 Tylenol this morning. I'm still hurt.
I can. And War Eagle, we welcome you to Jordan-Hare Stadium. We're on the playing surface today. The Tigers getting ready for their A-Day practice as Auburn wraps up its spring practice for 2025. Andy Burcham on the field, Ronnie Brown, Jason Campbell, Brad Law in the booth. And we're going to open up the show with Auburn head coach Hugh Freeze. Give us an idea. What do you think of spring practice 2025?
Honestly, I told the team this morning in team meeting, I'm really pleased with the effort and attitude and accountability. Obviously, you got a lot of key guys out that have those surgeries in January and from the season, which is why I continue to be a proponent of June OTAs and not this time of year. But the guys that we had, though, I really thought we took a big step forward in accountability and culture.
All right. Pardon me for asking this, but give us an update on your health. As the word came out in the offseason, you're dealing with a little bit of cancer right now.
Yeah, it's, that's a word you never want to hear. But you have your 30 minutes of self-pity, I guess, and then you say, look, God is not surprised by any of it, and there's no accidents with that. And so it's a really kind of an opportunity for me to model what I've preached for years to these kids of how you walk through the gut punches of life or disappointment or bad news. And so Jill and I have gathered all the information and are just, I think we're in a good spot with all the facts that we have to probably survey it until January. And as long as I can handle it mentally, I think I can. So that's the plan right now.
I know the folks are praying for you in and outside this Auburn family.
Well, we've had more well wishes and prayers offered up, and we're so thankful, and continue to do that for us, please.
Back to football. Where do you think that this team has made the biggest step forward during this spring practice?
I think the confidence at the quarterback position with the way the wide receivers have played has been big. I think defensively the youth that we have is concerning, but, man, they don't seem to worry about it. I'm the one that probably worries about it. They don't. They're kind of have a little swagger about them, and so we're going to have to depend on some of those younger guys for some playing time over there. But really think that the confidence at the quarterback position has been evident to see.
Jackson Arnold and Deuce Knight, your two quarterbacks primarily in this spring. You've got one veteran, although a transfer in from Oklahoma, and Deuce Knight, the true freshman. What have you seen from those two guys?
You described it pretty well. Deuce is one of the more talented freshmen I've ever seen. I think he's going to be really, really special. Obviously young and still learning the game. Jackson understands the game, has played it at this level. Both have great skill sets of hunger to lead and football IQ. Really was pleasantly surprised with Deuce on that, and I knew Jackson probably would be that way. And so, man, I think I'm excited to see what they do when the season gets going. You're blowing it dead pretty quick when somebody gets around them in these deals. So, but there have been some throws made this spring that you look at and go, wow, that's really impressive.
Today, what do you hope to accomplish? I know you've got a live period at the end where folks can kind of keep score. How's the things going?
Yeah, we're going to some of the younger guys. We'll do some live stuff after all the endo. We'll do a Skelly move the ball period where the risk of people getting rolled up are a little less with the big guys. And then at the end, we'll do a little red zone lockout competition that should be pretty competitive.
Transfer portal obviously is a big factor right now. Is there an area that you look to following this spring practice to shore up as you get ready for 2025?
Yeah, I think you start with the middle of your defense, and you can't have enough bigs, and ours are pretty young, so we would like to get a little help there. maybe another mature linebacker. I love our young ones, but they're young, and then maybe another middle safety guy. That's probably where we'll be leaning toward looking.
Day's a little bit different than 2 years ago, your first A-Day game when it was a monsoon out here. Beautiful day for football.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day, and, man, a great crowd to welcome us here in Jordan-Hare, and we've got great fans, as we've always said, but it's exciting to be out here to wind up spring practice today.
Thank you for the visit today. Wish you all the best. War Eagle.
Sir, War Eagle.
Tigers head coach Hugh Freeze. Brad, we'll send it up to you in the booth.
All right, Andy, thank you very much. Brad Law joined in the booth here by Jason Campbell and Ronnie Brown, a couple of Tiger greats who are used to hearing on the Auburn Sports Network crew. Guys, this is it's always an exciting day when you're inside Jordan-Hare Stadium. Even if it's not your typical A-Day game, it's a practice, but it's football in April in this stadium, so it's a fun day.
Yeah, it's always exciting, and the format's changed, obviously, over the years because now you have to think more about safety and security and making sure that those guys, especially now the way with this transfer portal, it's hard to have depth. So when you're trying to establish that, you have to be careful about not getting guys hurt. But you also want to see guys in a competitive space. And so, because you're going to have to learn to lean on some of these younger guys, you want them to get that experience. And the only way to do that is to get these reps. And so as a coach, you're thinking about all those things. But as a player, obviously on the older end of it, you're like, okay, let me get my plays and get out of here. And then the younger guys are itching to get there and get in and say, okay, let me show coaches what I can do and prove that, I'm not going to get some playing time. And Jason, for quarterbacks, it's a little bit different because you guys know really I'm not going to get hit because you got to make sure that you secure those guys. But, what you want to see in terms of timing and things of that nature that you get with your receivers.
It's like a golf beach vacation for quarterbacks,
yeah,
right?
Andy's waiting on us down there, so I'm going to get to mine after him.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's hold you up on your response. Back down to the field. Andy, who you got?
I've got the Auburn's brand new women's basketball coach, Larry Vickers, joining us. Has to be the tallest head coach in Auburn history. Comes to us from Norfolk State. Been on the job now for a couple weeks. Kind of describe what this last couple weeks has been like for us, Coach.
Well, it's been amazing and hectic at the same time. All I really do is talk on my phone all day, but it's been really exciting. I'm really happy to be a part of the Auburn family.
What is the biggest priority, the roster, the coaching staff, or all of the above?
Well, the coaching staff had to go first because you can't recruit the nation by yourself. And here, obviously, you have to recruit the nation. So my staff is complete. They should be coming in this week. And then you'll just see the visits kind of pouring in.
How do you do that as you look to fill out this roster for that first team under Larry Vickers coming up?
Well, you want to get some players that believe in the right things, that want to work hard every day. Some of these other teams have been built for years, and have different kind of chemistry. So you want to have people that want to be team-focused first so we can build brick by brick.
You talked in your press conference, your introductory press conference. You want to be innovative offensively and defensively. What does that mean?
Well, styles kind of make fights, that old boxing adage. And, for us, the SEC has a style. So we're not going to out South Carolina, out Texas, right? So we're going to come up with our own innovative style that works for Auburn women's basketball.
Talk just about coaching and getting this team together in really one of the very toughest leagues in the world at this point, Southeastern Conference.
Well, a lot of players transition from here to the WNBA. So we want to get a lot of talented individuals, but also talented individuals that we can help grow their game in all capacities. Floor spacers all across. The three makes a big difference. We're not going to try and be the Boston Celtics or anything, but we want to make sure that we're spreading the floor and everybody on our team can shoot.
Talk about making that change for you from Norfolk State to Auburn in the Southeastern Conference.
Well, I would be lying if I didn't say it was a huge jump. At Norfolk, I had the best team. I had one of the best teams in mid-major basketball. But 9 years ago, I had one of the worst teams, starting off 0-21 before they gave me the job. So I've been here before, kind of, but it's not as bad as that was at all.
You getting the family settled at this point?
Well, the family, I told them they can't come to August. My kids are going to want to be around me all day. So hopefully by the time we get to August, things will slow down a little bit for me and the team. But for right now, my head's down and we're running.
Looking forward to what you build at Auburn. We're glad to have you with us today. Thank you. War Eagle.
Thank you, War Eagle.
Auburn women's basketball coach Leah Vickers. Brad, send it back to you.
All right, Andy, really good stuff. See, this is why Andy on the field. He's in his element down there. There's no tell. We're gonna. This is a celebration of Auburn this weekend. Softball beat Georgia last night. Baseball beat LSU. We got Butch Thompson coming up later in the hour here. As we watch this practice, Jason, since it's not a traditional A-Day game like we're used to seeing, these massive groups of fans that are here, and there are a ton of fans that are in the stadium to watch A-Day today. What can they look for? What are they evaluating? What are they going to be impressed with if they watch today?
Yeah, I'm just glad that Auburn decided to keep some form of a A-Day for the fans. You see a lot of these universities kind of going away from it. Transfer portal is kind of – that's the ugly side of it, right? Is taking away a lot of the great things that – some kids have become legends off Sean Jackson, a couple of years ago running, and they were like, man, who's this big guy? So some guys are able to make names for themselves, but it's created a scare tactic of being able to compete, and that takes away from everything that Ronnie and I know about the game. It's always been about competing, and at some point these brands are going to realize that they're bigger than just the one individual that's out there in the field. And at some point they have to understand that they're in a special place and they have a great opportunity to build something at a special place. And today what I want to see is these guys just compete, have fun, most importantly. But I like Ronnie said, A-Day games used to be all about the young players. The veteran guys would play maybe a quarter, and then it was all about the young guys after that. So since you kind of moved away from it now, I guess you can go to the format of, okay, let's play situational football, where you put the ball where you want it and you see how the defense reacts, see how the offense reacts to certain situations. And I think a day like today is great for a kid like Deuce Knight. I'm not sure how much we'll see Jackson today. I don't even think he's playing today. But I think Deuce is going to get majority of these reps, and this is his first live action in front of the fan base a little bit. And I'm pretty sure he's excited just to kind of show people what he can do a little bit, and along with some of these other big time freshmen we signed this year.
We're going to take our first break of the hour. We're on until 1 o'clock Central Time today, and we're so glad that great radio stations throughout Alabama and the Southeast have decided to join us. Also glad that you're with us on the Auburn Game Day app and watching the In the Booth feed on the Auburn Tigers YouTube channel. We've got a lot of discussion in the next hour about some of the new players, some of the returning leaders, guys who will be playing bigger roles in the 2025 season when it gets underway in 139 days at Baylor. So our first time out, and then we're back with more at Jordan-Hare Stadium. A-Day 2025, presented by Golden Flake, continues in a moment.
Hey, Auburn family, Coach Freeze here. Football season is upon us, and it's time to get your game day snacks ready. I'll be reaching for Golden Flake potato chips and pork rinds this season, especially the Sweet Heat pork rinds and dill pickle potato chips. Those are my favorites. Golden Flake has been a part of our game day for over 67 years. Whether you're hosting on game day or looking for something to satisfy your halftime hunger cravings, make sure to grab your favorite Golden Flake snack, War Eagle.
Things we take for granted, ordinary opportunities for parents and their children, can be a foster child's extraordinary. You have the power to do something positive that will change the life of a young person right here in Alabama. Open your heart and open your home to a foster child today. For more information, visit www.dhr.alabama.gov or call 1-866-64-AL-KIDS. Brought to you by the Alabama Department of Human Resources, the Alabama Broadcasters Association, and this station.
I like what I like, and I do what I want.
If what you like is getting the highest payouts, getting the most free play, and finding more of your favorite games on a spacious upscale gaming floor, then Wind Creek Montgomery is your kind of fabulous. No matter what fabulous means to you, you'll find it here. Wind Creek Montgomery. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
When the game is on the line, you want someone you can count on. At Alabama Power, we believe in consistency and having each other's back. It's our game plan to safely deliver the electricity you depend on. We give 100% to achieve 99.9% reliability. Learn how we power a better Alabama at alabamapower.com/reliable. Alabama Power is a proud supporter of the Auburn Tigers.
We're 139 days away from Auburn football season opener at Baylor. Now, more of A-Day, presented by Golden Flake, the official salty snack of the Auburn Tigers.
We are live at Jordan-Hare Stadium. Andy Burcham is down on the field. I'm Brad Law. We have Ronnie Brown and Jason Campbell. And the yearly awards are being announced right now. The Shug Jordan Award for Outstanding Senior Man, Luke Deal. Pat Sullivan Award, Offensive Player of the Year for Jarquez Hunter. The Zeke Smith Award, Defensive Player of the Year, Jalen McLeod. Mike Colin Award, the leading tackler was Dorian Mausi. The Ken Rice Award for Best Blocking Lineman, Jeremiah Wright. And the Great Southernwood Lineman of the Year, Keldrick Falk. Guys, as we talk about replacing some of the key players from the 2024 Auburn Tigers, I want to start right there with the Offensive Player of the Year, Jarquez Hunter. Bringing Darrell Robinson, a transfer from UConn, and Damari Alston is back. Jeremiah Cobb is back. Alvin Henderson owns the all-time high school rushing record in the state of Alabama. Guys, how do you size up Auburn's running back core in 2025?
Well, I mean, I think it's still going to be a running back by committee approach, right? Like, obviously, Damari Alston, who's shared the most time and been here the longest, he'll get an opportunity to be that starting guy. I guess if you say that's the position. But, I'm assuming that a lot of these guys would get an opportunity to participate and bring in their skill set, seeing what they do, and, looking at the offense of trying to keep guys off balance, then each guy presents something differently. Jarquez was more of a, do-it-all type of guy, and then go get on the kick. And so, you utilize those guys in the position of running back, right? Like, you want to make sure that those guys have duality to them, right? You want them to be able to run and go between the tackles and do those things, but you also want them to be effective in the passing game as well, so that you don't become one-dimensional, or teams kind of start to see and figure out, like, okay, well, this guy comes in, it's a pass play. This guy comes in, it's more of a run. And so you try to keep people off balance. But I think with a stable of running backs, you get an opportunity to do those different things and try to hone those skill sets for those guys and let them to understand, too, the importance of competition. You want those guys to compete. You got Alvin Henderson, like you said, coming in, all the success that he had in high school, which is always great. But then now you're on a new level. The SEC is a lot different than high school ball, right? And so it's going to be a transitional period for him. But, Jason, I think a lot of times, just trying to get acclimated to the SEC and with the transfer portal, now the offense, there are other things that I think it's harder to come in as a freshman. You redshirt, then you wait a few years, and then you get your feet wet a little bit, and then you kind of take off. It's a little bit different now. The expectation is for guys, even the mindsets for them to say, okay, I need to do everything right now.
Yeah. Let me stop here. I think we've got Andy again standing by.
Andy's on. He's hard on the trail.
Again. He's got him down there. Andy, who are you talking to now?
Hi, we're talking to the guy that just received the award for the Outstanding All-Around Senior, Luke Deal, who, for the first time in, I don't know, many, many years, is not out there getting ready for A-Day. Well, what is this day like for you?
Yeah, this is weird. This takes me back to my freshman year A-Day when I tore my ACL, and I was just out here just hanging around. I don't know, just around for a good time. It's definitely great to be in the stadium, but it's weird, like you said, just to not be out here stretching with the guys and getting ready to play. It's played so many games here, so many special moments here, so seeing it from a different perspective is a little weird, but still cool to be in here.
You have been working with the team this spring, right?
I have, yes, sir. I've been working with the strength program under Coach Dom. And while I'm training to try to get picked up by an NFL team, we'll see if that happens and do whatever the Lord wants us to. And right now, just trying to put some food on the table for the family and get my career propelled, because that's kind of what I want to do whenever I'm done. I want to be in the strength and conditioning. I don't ever want to leave, and it would be nice to be here at Auburn. So, yeah.
Let's talk about your family a little bit, if you would. I think folks probably have kept up with being married and a baby boy out there.
Yeah, Angela and I are going to celebrate our 3-year anniversary here soon on April 30th, and little man's about to turn 8 months actually Monday. So a bunch of big milestones coming up. He's crawling around, he's standing up in his crib, he's not letting us sleep. I should say his mama sleep. I don't want to give that. She'll be mad if she hears this, but yeah, he's doing great. He really it's a joy to see him grow up, and I know every parent out there kind of understands that, how watching your kid grow up is truly a blessing and a joy.
A little bit of separation for you now from your playing career at Auburn. When you look back on that now, what did it mean to put on that blue jersey for the home games, the Stormtrooper white uniforms for the Tigers on the road.
Yeah, I was just talking to Mr. Jordan about that. I mean, I really hope it never gets lost, just the love for a university, a love for a school. We were talking about the creed. We were talking about just times of old and really just how much pride I have in this university, how much pride he obviously has in his family. I hope all these guys understand that, because I feel like there are some important things. One, to represent your school. Two, represent your family. And three, the most important to me is to represent your teammates, because there's nothing like playing on a team. That's something that you'll miss. I already miss it, and I believe I'll miss it for the rest of my life. So try to stay around the team setting my whole life, because it's special. It really is, and this university is special too.
And you're special. We certainly appreciate you being with us today. Enjoy this day, Luke.
Thank you, Andy. I appreciate it.
Luke Deal accepted his award from Ralph Jordan Jr., Shug Jordan Jr., out there today. And we'll send it back upstairs to Brad.
All right, Andy, thank you very much. Guys, let's continue to talk a little bit about the offense, and Jason, get some thoughts on the offensive line. Xavier Chaplin was a transfer added from Virginia Tech, Mason Murphy from USC. So you add a couple of potential starters on the offensive line. At the very worst, their first-line depth pieces on that offensive line as Hugh Freeze in his third year at the helm is looking continually to improve that offense.
Yeah, we're pretty much, I would honestly say, 9 deep at that offensive line position. And that's a great problem to have when you're heading into the season, especially the way the game is played, right? You never know how many guys have to play early on in those snaps when it's hot in September and everything. So you think about it, everything for me starts at the tackle positions. And you get a Xavier Atkins, a transfer from Virginia Tech, who projected to be a first, second-round type draft pick. Then you talk about Mason Murphy, the guy that came in from USC at the right tackle position, a guy with a lot of experience, and another projected early-round draft pick. So then you talk about Tall Miller, getting him back with the extra year, the Pavio deal they call it, him getting the extra year to come back. So now he can play left tackle, right tackle. He can also play inside at guard. So that's basically 3 starting tackles. Honestly, you can only play 2 at one time, but everyone knows you have to substitute those guys at some point during games. So the fact to have, those 3 guys lined at that position, then you move inside with Jeremiah Wright, the proven veteran on this team, another draft pick guy for 2026. Getting him coming back this year was huge. Oregon tried to pull at him a little bit. Some of these other schools were trying to get at him, but he stayed loyal to his program. He wanted to finish out. He wanted to finish with a winning season in his. That's hard to say. Yeah. He wants to finish with a winning season in his time here on the Plains. And then you talk about Connor Lew, right? Connor Lew, the center that anchors everything. Connor Lew is one of those freshmen that came in here running, and he was an outstanding true freshman. And now he's playing that center position for us. So we're good with all these guys, and Dylan Wade at left guard.
All right, we'll talk more about it in a bit. Right back down to the field. Voice of the Tigers, Andy Burcham.
Dorian Mausi named the top tackler for the Tigers, the Mike Colon Award winner. What is it? I asked Luke this just a moment ago. What is it like to be on the sideline for a spring football game?
It is the crazy experience going out, seeing my old teammates out there go perform. It's honestly surreal. I was only here for a year. That year flew by so fast. It flew by so fast.
What did you expect out of last year, and then what was the reality of it as you ended your college career?
I got exactly what I wanted out of Auburn, and I hope I gave back to Auburn as much as I did. I wanted to come in. I wanted to lead the team in tackles. I wanted to come be one of the best linebackers in the SEC, and I feel like I accomplished that goal. So I can't do anything but thank Coach Durkin and thank my linebacker room for competing with me every day, because that's the key word, competition. That's what drove me to be what I was this year.
You guys were veteran at the linebacker spot last year with Keys and yourself and others. It's a little bit of a younger linebacker. They got to grow up a little bit, don't they?
They do have to grow up. But I feel like it's like with the room being led by Robert Woodard, like he's going to do nothing but exceptional. Number 0 out there, I can't wait to watch him. I can't wait to watch DeMarcus. I can't wait to watch the transfer and the young guys come play, because Coach Durkin is a standard of the linebacker room, and the standard will be met.
What's next for you, Dorian?
I'm going to the NFL draft, so that's the next thing. You're going to see me on Sundays and doing great. Hopefully you don't got to look too far.
I hope it is a long, fruitful career in the NFL. Thanks for joining us today, War Eagle.
I appreciate that so much, War Eagle.
Dorian Mausi named the top tackler for the Tigers, the Mike Colon Award winner. We'll send it back upstairs.
All right, Andy, thank you very much. We'll see who else you can track down. I think Andy's loving it down there.
He's loving it. He's in his element. You said it earlier.
It's perfect. You know what? Before we take our next break, Jason, you alluded to this earlier. It's competition. It's about competition. Whether it's a spring practice or a fall practice or a game when we get to the fall. These guys are out there. They want to compete. They're out to show something today.
Yeah, everyone's trying to win jobs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And, you're competing against the next person on your team to make each other better, because once the season gets here, I got to rely on you as my teammate to do your job. Everyone has to do their own job. You can't be worried about the guy beside you. You have to trust that the guy beside you is putting in the work, putting in the time, and the study habits in order to have a good season. This is an important year for Auburn, and this is a year, I think, with the experience that we got on the offensive line with a veteran quarterback mixed with a young quarterback, and you think about defensively, I think this can be a really special year for Auburn if everything comes together and guys stay healthy.
We're going to take our next break. We will have more. As you can tell, if you've tuned in for the first 20 minutes plus of our broadcast, we got a lot going on today, despite this new, or maybe because of the new format of A-Day, and we will keep it going live from Jordan-Hare Stadium in just a couple of moments when we come back. This is the Auburn Sports Network.
Yellowwood knows that a 5-star backyard is the place to make lasting memories, like cookouts, cornhole with friends, ooh, a neighborhood potluck with your wife's pasta salad, the one with the feta, or taking a nap on your deck in a hammock. Naps are memories. I love naps. For 5-star backyards and the most memorable experiences, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have that yellow tag, you don't want it.
Here's a clip from a recent Talking Tigers podcast with Andy Burcham.
Former Auburn quarterback, former assistant coach, Larry Blakeney. Your name is now part of the field at Troy.
Yes, sir.
You look back, that's a Hall of Fame career for you,
Yes.
Larry.
I appreciate it, man. I don't know how all that happened, but we enjoyed it. I think that's how you get to be whatever. You go about your daily task and you feel good about what you're doing and who you're working for and who you're working with. And of course, Jack Hawkins, the president, and Johnny Williams, my AD, and others, certainly assistant coaches and players, made a lot of difference in my life.
A new episode of the Talking Tigers podcast is released every Monday, wherever you listen to podcasts. Like and subscribe to the Talking Tigers podcast, only from the Auburn Sports Network.
Hey, Auburn family, Coach Freeze here. Football season is upon us, and it's time to get your game day snacks ready. I'll be reaching for Golden Flake potato chips and pork rinds this season, especially the Sweet Heat pork rinds and dill pickle potato chips. Those are my favorites. Golden Flake has been a part of our game day for over 67 years. Whether you're hosting on game day or looking for something to satisfy your halftime hunger cravings, make sure to grab your favorite Golden Flake snack, War Eagle.
And we welcome you back to live coverage of A-Day 2025 from Jordan-Hare Stadium. Brad Law, Jason Campbell, Ronnie Brown. Andy Burcham is down on the field. He is talking to special guests. We've already heard from several throughout this first nearly half hour or so of our. I've lost Andy. Where is Andy? I don't have my eyes on him. You guys see him?
He need orange pants on.
He does need orange. I agree. All right, well.
He's conversating with Dr. Richardson right now.
Okay. All right. Very good. Well, we'll keep an eye on him, and he'll have more guests coming up. I know that in about 17 minutes, Butch Thompson will be here. Baseball, a big win over LSU last night. He'll be here to talk about that. We've been talking about the offense. Want to get your thoughts on the wide receiver core. Ronnie, this is a group that you got several guys who are coming back that they're very excited about. You also added Eric Singleton from Georgia Tech, Horatio Fields from Wake Forest. Sam Turner, the freshman, has done really good things so far in the spring. This is a really exciting group.
Yeah, and I think it's been, obviously the usual suspects that we all have come accustomed to know. Cam Coleman really quickly over the last year or so. Malcolm Simmons as well. But then you add in Eric Singleton. From what I've heard from practice, they're really excited about what he brings. And then you're talking about Horatio Fields. And so this is a group that has depth, but then you also add the element of coach saying how excited he was about the quarterback progression, right? One, the competition amongst that group, and then that breeds, everybody trying to get better. Well, when you have a group of receivers like this group has, now everybody wants the ball, and that's what you want from the guys. You want them to want the ball in every situation and feel like they were open in every play. The great ones that we all think about, they felt like they were open on every play, and so that's the mindset you're trying to breed from these guys, and I think that makes a world of difference. Jason, you would know better than I. But, when you got a quarterback and you got a group of guys like that, it's like, okay, well, they come to the huddle every time and say, hey, man, I was open. Look at me, right? And so I think that's what you want from your receiver.
Yeah, it's just like running backs, right? Hand me the ball. Even though they get hit 5 yards in the backfield, they still want the ball because there's always that one play they feel like that's going to make the difference in the ball game. And that's what you like about this receiver core is overall, I can't find a better receiver core nationally. Auburn's got to be in the top 3. When you talk about Eric Singham, the top receiver in the transfer portal, you mentioned Cam Coleman already. Everyone knows him. And then you talk about Horatio Fields, getting him from Wake Forest was a huge deal. Sam Turner, the kid out of Atlanta that was flipped from Georgia Tech to Auburn, it's a big-time player. But then you talk about, is Perry Thompson going to step up this year? Yeah. He has a pro body. He's a guy that can help this football team if he's able to take the next step. And then you just talk about guys overall in this room. Malcolm Simmons. How about Malcolm Simmons? Like, I know last year Cam got a lot of the headlines, but Malcolm had a huge productive year. Mm-hmm. And, this guy can make a lot of things happen. He switched numbers as well, wearing number 4 now. So some of these guys got to relearn some numbers this year, but this receiver core is going to be the quarterback's best friend and the running back's best friend this year because who's ever competing at that running back position, whether it's DeMar, whether it's Kyle, whether it's Darrell, whether it's Alvin, you're going to have guys taking that 8th element out of the box. And that gives you the run against some 6- and 7-man boxes. And that's a difference maker between a running back breaking a 40-yarder or getting tackled for a 6-yard gain when he's able to break through that first line of scrimmage. So I'm excited to see what happens. The ball can go either way this year. I think where we could probably use a little more help is probably a tight end position. Mm-hmm. I say tight end position is very inexperienced this year. We got some talent there. It just got to get some experience.
No question about it. Do you think from a scheme perspective, Auburn wants to throw the ball a little more than it has in the past because of all of those weapons you have in the wide receiver room?
Well, let's look at Cincinnati Bengals, right? What they do great. They throw the football. Their receivers are really good, but when they had the guy that just went to Houston, wasn't running, what's the running, Mixon. When they had Mixon, they ran the ball good with those receivers. Yeah. So you still got to run the football. I don't think you can go into the games and say we're going to be one-dimensional. If you think about it overall, you win football games by being dual on offense. And I think no matter how great your receivers, how great your running backs, you always need to keep that thing balanced.
And you need to be able to score points and keep the other team from scoring points as well. Looking at last year, the fourth quarter, Auburn allowed more points in the fourth quarter than any of the others. They scored fewer points in the fourth quarter than the other quarters throughout the year. Let's go to the defensive side of the ball, and let's start up front. Guys, thoughts on the defensive line and what Auburn has done and continues to need to do to build depth and talent along the defensive front?
Well, like you said, that's really important. Brad, that's going to be really key. And you heard Coach, that was the first thing he mentioned when you said, hey, what would you like to do in this portal, right? We shore up the inside of that defense. Not to say that we don't have guys that are capable, but it always helps to have depth, right? And you want some guys in there because you need some big bodies. Obviously, Keldrick Falk is going to be the focal point for most teams when you look at our defense, I think, right? Like you're talking about a guy that can get after passer. But then how do you I think pair that with the other guys and making sure at the corner position, those guys played really well last year. Look for them to continue to mature and, get that confidence and gain their ability through experience. And so I'm looking at those things, but I'm excited about DeMarcus Riddick this year. Yeah. Like he's a guy that has all the talent. He can run. He's sideline to sideline. He has a nose for the football. And so when you're looking at that, it's like, okay, at each level, we need a guy that, stands out. And I think we have an opportunity to have that. It's just to get that experience. And, I think it's key during this time of year. This is where you develop that for the season because it's hard to have that mentality to just be able to click it and turn it on, when you haven't done that. And so, I think that's one of the challenges through this environment, through this new age of football is how do you get into that mindset of, okay, now it's go time and I can turn it on. Some people can, some people can't. So I'm looking for that from this group of guys.
Do you think Kieron Crawford, Jason, is ready to take a step forward? You have no Jalen McLeod now. He was such an explosive player off the edge the last couple of seasons. Kieron Crawford certainly one of those guys you might look at to fill that role on this year's team.
Yeah, I think it's important for Kieron to take that next step, and I think he's more than ready for it. Last year he's come in games and fill in and did an exceptional job of, giving Keldrick and Jalen a little bit of a break, and it wasn't a huge drop-off. He got after the quarterback really well. He didn't get the sacks that he wanted last year, but he got a lot of QB pressures. And that's sometimes just as good because the quarterback got to get the ball out of his hand quicker than he wants to. But you think about up front, though, Jared Smith coming from Thompson High School, a big talented kid everyone's going to be paying attention to. Expect to see him play early. Jordan Crawford, him, Malik Archer, two big, basically 5-star D linemen that we playing beside each other.
The beef up front for sure. Speaking of, Andy Burcham's got a special guest right now.
He was one of Auburn's all-time greats. Willie Anderson joins us from the sideline here at Jordan-Hare Stadium, one of Auburn's all-time great offensive linemen in the Alabama Sports Hall of Fame, and one day going to be in the NFL Hall of Fame. Great with the Cincinnati Bengals and the Auburn Tigers. Good to have you back on campus. War Eagle.
War Eagle. Great day today. Came back down today to honor my boy Steve Wallace getting inducted into the Tiger Walk of Fame. Steve's been a mentor of mine since I was 20 years old, a big brother to me. So, ironically, his award ceremony came on the same day as A-Day.
You are now a mentor to others, especially on that offensive line, aren't you?
Yes, I am. I started my Willie Anderson Lineman Academy 2015. So in the last several years, we're putting about 17 kids a year through our academy that are gaining scholarships. 2 years ago, we had 2 first-rounders in Paris Johnson with the 6th pick of to the Arizona Cardinals and Broderick Jones to the Pittsburgh Steelers. So having those kids come to our program is a fun thing. High school, college, and pro guys, but mainly high school kids. Been a whole fun ordeal.
To his right, Damian Craig on the sideline today. Both of you guys came out of Mobile. Talk about high school football in that era coming out of the Mobile area.
It's all we got. It's like it's our religion down there. And down in Mobile, it's either Auburn or Alabama. Damian and I chose Auburn. Our hearts were with Auburn, and back then it wasn't a popular thing back then, but worked out for both of us. And Damian's obviously a legend here at Auburn, and blocking for him and having a time in '93 going undefeated season with him was a great ordeal and had a good time.
I hope you know you're a legend on the plains as well, Willie.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you for the visit. Wish you all the best. War Eagle.
Thank you, War Eagle. Thank you.
Willie Anderson, one of Auburn's all-time greats. We'll send it back upstairs to Brad.
I love it, guys. We're hearing from players from last year's team and players from, well, not last year's team, but a little bit back from that. Absolutely love it. All right, before our next break, describe what you've been seeing on the field right now, these different position groups going through these different drills.
Yeah, I think this is just 2 and 3 spot drills, right? Like you had some special team stuff going on. The gunners were working on trying to keep the ball out of the end zone, and I think they were doing all of those things. You had the linemen working on drops and getting their hands in the proper place. That's really important for those guys. Then you got the defensive side of the ball over there. You got guys working on tackling drills. You got the linebacker, the outside linebackers making sure that, they're keeping their head up. They're fighting guys off, any cut blocks and those things. The safeties and the secondary guys are dropping back. And so you got a little bit of everything going on, but it's all the fundamentals and the basics, right? And that's where you have to start. That's the thing that, gets lost. Everybody looks at results or outcome. You also have to worry about philosophy, strategy, and process, right? And I think that's one of the things that they're working on, route running and all of those things. So it's kind of cool to see that they still have to work on focus on the basics.
We're going to take a break. We'll have more from the field, more from the booth, more from A-Day 2025 when A-Day continues in a moment.
Hey, Auburn family, Coach Freeze here. Football season is upon us, and it's time to get your game day snacks ready. I'll be reaching for Golden Flake potato chips and pork rinds this season, especially the Sweet Heat pork rinds and dill pickle potato chips. Those are my favorites. Golden Flake has been a part of our game day for over 67 years. Whether you're hosting on game day or looking for something to satisfy your halftime hunger cravings, make sure to grab your favorite Golden Flake snack, War Eagle.
Kia of Auburn is happy to connect the Kia brand to the Auburn fans. Our winning lineup has something for everyone at almost any budget. SUVs like the Telluride, Sorento, and Sportage. You prefer a sedan? Check out Forte, Soul, and don't forget our new multi-purpose vehicles, the Carnival, or our amazing hybrid or electric vehicles. Kia of Auburn is a proud supporter of Auburn Athletics. Kia of Auburn, where you're always number one. Whoa, Rico.
Since Auburn Bank opened in 1907, we've been tested by world wars, pandemics, and plenty of troubled times. Through it all, we've not only survived, but thrived by staying true to our core values of sound money management and putting our customers first. And just as surely as more challenges will come, we'll meet them the way we always have, with your confidence and our experience. Auburn Bank, champions of you. Member FDIC, online at auburnbank.com.
It's a great day to get vaccinated. Many children and adults that delayed vaccination during the pandemic are still behind schedule. It is crucial that we take the steps to get everyone back on track with their routine immunization. Children and teens can still catch up on their vaccinations even if they start late. Make sure you and your family are up to date on all recommended vaccines, including respiratory virus vaccine. Let's all do our part to get back on track. Don't wait. Vaccinate. For more information, visit alabamapublichealth.gov/IMM.
Kickoff on the Plains is September 6th against Ball State. Renew your season tickets by visiting aubtix.com. Now back to more of A-Day at Jordan-Hare Stadium.
All right, welcome back. Brad Laud, Ronnie Brown, Jason Campbell in the booth. Andy Burcham is down on the field. He will talk with head baseball coach Butch Thompson here momentarily. It is a celebration of a lot going on in Auburn this weekend. And as they break now into the individual groups here, it is a practice, not the traditional A-Day game. It's an A-Day practice, and we can see the quarterbacks and the receivers, some passing drills. And, you know, for the average fan watching here, you know, with no defensive player, what are we watching for? What are we looking for exactly? How do you evaluate this, guys?
Well, right now it's individual. So it's pretty much going through warm-ups where their offensive line is just, you know, getting their techniques right, passing on guys, seeing who can, you know, make the switches correctly. And then you think about receivers just getting their legs going, and quarterbacks not throwing hard right now, but just trying to, you know, get their just timing, you know, just working on timing right now. Then defensively, just same thing, seeing the ball in the air, try to attack the ball, technique standpoint. So coaches are looking to see, are guys lining up correctly, are their techniques sound and fundamental. And then once we start to do some live drills here, then you want to see if you can piece it all together.
8A coverage brought to you in part by Bonnie Plants, proud supporter of Auburn University and the Auburn Tigers. It is a big weekend on the Plains, and it got underway last night with softball and baseball. Drama in softball over at Jane B. Moore-Field. 24 combined hits. The lead changed hands back and forth in the sixth. Auburn took a lead. Georgia took it right back. Auburn took a lead. Georgia took it right back. Georgia carried a one-run lead into the bottom of the seventh inning, but the Tigers just kept on swinging.
Kiss that ball goodbye! McCrary walks it off, bottom of the seventh. A 6-home run night for the Orange and Blue. A multi-home run night for KK. Auburn wins 11-10.
How about that? KK McCrary with 2 home runs. That's the call in the aftermath, courtesy of Britt Bowen. KK McCrary, 2 home runs. Rose Roach, a couple of home runs. McCrary with that walk-off shot, and Auburn beat 18th-ranked Georgia last night at Jane B. Moore-Field. They'll play Game 2 of that series this afternoon at 3:30. And so I don't know if you fit everybody who's in this stadium over there at the ballpark, because this is a huge crowd that's turned out to watch A-Day here this afternoon. But you have an opportunity to check out all 3, football, softball, and baseball. Softball goes for the series win over 18th-ranked Georgia at 3:30 this afternoon. And then baseball goes for a series win over LSU tonight at 6. The Tigers beat up on LSU last night 8-4 rather in that series opener, and we will hear from head coach Butch Thompson here momentarily. All right, special teams, awfully critical, and I think, guys, one of the biggest bits of good news so far in spring practice has been the return of Alex McPherson and his health. He was so good 2 years ago, and when you have somebody, I mean, you can point to several games last year where another field goal make here or there, and you could look at 2 or 3 more wins on the schedule.
Yeah, think about the Missouri game, right? Mm-hmm. You know, just, you know, Oklahoma game. Just a lot of games came down to, you know, kicking where you're late in ball games. Either you're going to have the lead or you're, driving to just kick a field goal to win the game, and instead of having to score a touchdown in those situations. So McPherson is one of the better kickers in college football. Like I said, most importantly, his health is better. And he's a tremendous attribute to this football team when he's out there. Now, Towns is a talented kid, and like I said, that was a tough situation for him last year as a true freshman, being a local kid as well, having to step in and kick the ball last year with so many accolades coming out of high school. It's just tough, right? It's a different atmosphere. You got to kick in front of 90,000 people, and you really hadn't had a chance to groom into it. You had to be rushed right into it. So I think that was a valuable experience for him last year, but I think we'll depend on McPherson a lot this year. But I think Towns is still the future after when McPherson's career is done.
Yeah, it's good to have two guys that are capable, for sure. Speaking of two capable guys, voice of the Tigers, Andy Burcham, is down on the field, and he has head baseball coach Butch Thompson.
And he was fearsome as a football player back in the – you a linebacker back in the day?
No, I was the end guard and tackle. I sat on the end of the bench, guarded the water, and tackled anybody.
I know you played. What position?
I was a defensive end, a little light in my loafers.
So you were a buck. You were a buck linebacker.
Something like that. I was free. I just crashed around the end.
Congratulations on the win last night. That's a significant win against the number 3 team in the country. Sam Dutton was terrific again last night, and you beat one of the best pitchers not only in this league but in the country last night.
Yeah, advertised LSU hadn't given up an earned run last weekend against Oklahoma, so I was kind of kidding, but I was kind of serious. Score a run, and Sam Dutton, the pitching performance was out of sight. But our freshmen again, I'd say Bub Terrell, Chase Freilich, Chris Rembert, George had told me they went 7 for 11 in the ball game, but Freilich's first double to get the first 2 runs against a guy that had a special complete game last week, and then Ike Irish, showed up again with the bases loaded, hit a ball off the center field wall. This will be tough because it is a great ball club. They are the number 3 team, and these rankings usually don't mean anything, but they're a complete ball club, and we'll have to, fight and claw to try to get another one. Hopefully it happens tonight.
Another attendance record last night. I'm going to go ahead and predict that you break it again tonight.
Well, it's a chance, being out here and seeing how many football fans are right here across the street watching these guys practice tonight. I sure hope they go get a good meal, get some autograph session, connect with the Auburn family, and then I'll wind up showing up at Plainsman Park at 6 o'clock.
That's my plan. Dinner, back to the ballpark, and you get ready for game 2 tonight. You turn it over to Cade Fisher tonight.
Yep, left-handed pitcher. People hadn't hit him much. Got to be in the strike zone. That's really how LSU scored their 3 runs last night, is when we left the strike zone for a minute. So we've been so patient with Cade, and he's kept us in ball games, but I'd love to see him put it all together. This is a guy that's been in our league before and transferred to us, and just a great talent. Can he get ahead in the count? Can he shove the ball in the strike zone here and keep making these LSU hitters have to beat us? I think that's our great recipe. And then, on the back end of that, we did have Carson Myers got us to the finish line. It allowed us to have Ryan Hetzler. That would really be plan A, as if Cade could keep growing as a starting pitcher for us, and we could figure out in between there. And I'd love to call Ryan Hetzler's name at the end of the ball game to give us a chance to win the series.
It wrapped up a terrific day for Auburn. Women's tennis, softball won in dramatic fashion, baseball won. Now a beautiful day, and we'll do it all again tonight. Appreciate the visit. Look forward to seeing you at the ballpark.
Sounds like a plan.
War Eagles. Auburn baseball coach Butch Thompson back upstairs. Patty.
All right, Andy, thanks very much. Really good stuff. Broadcast at 5:45, by the way, on many of these same Auburn Sports Network stations. All right, so we've got quarterbacks and receivers on the left side of the field. You got the big boys over here on the right side of the field. What have you guys been watching here the last few minutes?
Kind of been watching both of them.
Yeah.
I know Ronnie's been watching a little bit. I just saw Cam Cole make a great catch and a great throw by Deuce Knight, giving him a chance to high point the ball in the back of the end zone on what we call like a fade ball a little bit. And then I've been seeing him throw some accurate passes. And that one there got intercepted off a tip ball. I don't think he's thrown any interceptions this whole spring until just then.
Somebody got it. Could you tell who got it?
Couldn't. I know the safety got it. I can't tell the number,
right.
But
that's on the other side of the field.
Yeah,
so it's
tip balls over the middle, never find the ground. And then offensive line has been looking at the rush down here. Jared Smith has been getting after it.
Yeah.
A kid from Thompson High School. like I said, it's some talented young guys, man, on this football team this year. It's going to make a lot of noise. And Ronnie, I know, you're probably paying attention a little bit, probably watching a little bit of running backs as well, but it's nothing really to watch as far as like pass protection just yet. But what are you seeing so far?
No, I'm looking mostly at the O-line, D-line, those matchups, because that's where this game starts, right? Yeah. Like, you got to protect the ball, and you got to get to the ball. So when you're looking at that, for these young men, they got to learn to compete, right, and get an opportunity. For a lot of these linemen, obviously, it's just technique, understanding, learning the fundamentals of it. If you're on the edges, you got to sit heavy inside to make sure you keep those guys and run them around the quarterback. The interior is a little bit harder, but you got to use those, the guys beside you, right? Like we call those the boards along your side. And so you make sure that you set heavy, force a guy to a side, and then you just beat him and set your anchor. And so just watching these guys develop and mature in that area. And then you're looking at some of the one-on-one stuff with the passing. This is usually in the offense's favor, right? Like, because it's no lineman, you don't have to worry about a pass rush. It's a lot harder to defend guys for a longer extended period of time now. Like you said, Deuce made a great throw to Cam. And so you want to see more of those things. But, it's a little bit harder. And then we mentioned the running backs. Like, when the pass rush, the one-on-one, that's in the defensive guy's favor. Like, you just get the bull rush. You can't cut them. I know they can't cut me. And so, it's just kind of unfavorable. But then it gets in our favor if we do some one-on-one pass routes, right? Like with the receivers with the running backs and the linebackers. Then now you're in a favorable spot. So just watching everybody, Brad.
78 down here on the offensive line. DeAndre Carter, sophomore. He has been really impressive. I'll tell you what, these guys are getting after it in these drills too. There's nobody going 80% speed down here in these drills.
Today's the last day of practice, right? Yeah. So after this, you go on vacation for a little bit. You get a little time off to get your bodies back. But DeAndre Carter is going to be a name for Auburn. Like I said, he got some veteran guys this year just helping him in front of him. But don't be surprised if you see him in some rotation this year during the season as well, getting some valuable experience. But like I said, he's a big kid. He's strong. 6'4", 354 pounds, redshirt freshman, so
with a little bit of nasty streak too.
SEC type guy in the offensive lineman. So there's some guys, I look at Tyler Johnson, a guy that redshirted last year as well from Louisiana. Is another guy that's, is not going to be a starter as a tackle this year, but he can learn a lot from Mason and Atkins and Too Tall Miller. So he gives you that fourth tackle that you need to have as well.
All right, we're going to take our last break of the hour. This is an hour that has gone by really quickly here at Jordan-Hare Stadium. We thank you very much for tuning in. We'll give you some closing thoughts as the players continue to go through their drills during the A-Day practice here in 2025. Back to Jordan-Hare Stadium in a moment. This is the Auburn Sports Network.
Let's huddle up and make things happen with the only cards for the Plains. The Auburn University Regions Visa Debit Card and prepaid Regions Now Card. They're a win for your wallet and a big War Eagle, whether you're purchasing stuff for game day or every day. Want to go all in on confidently showing your Tiger pride? Order your card now at regions.com/go Tigers. Regions, official bank of the SEC. Member FDIC. Terms, conditions, and fees apply.
Here's a clip from a recent Talking Tigers podcast with Andy Burcham.
Auburn women's golfer Megan Schofield on winning the Leah Rawls Atkins Award.
It has a lot to do with in the classroom, and I think just like leadership and kind of being like an Auburn man or woman. That was my interpretation of it. Just really like exemplifying and like being your best version of yourself for your school. And I felt like I really tried to do that in my 5 years at Auburn, and not because I wanted to win awards. It's just really easy to do that for Auburn. I feel like Auburn gives you so much, and they provided so much for me. I mean, I'm still living here. I really think I could live here for the rest of my life. We just really love it here, and it was a pretty easy thing to do.
A new episode of the Talking Tigers podcast is released every Monday, wherever you listen to podcasts. Like and subscribe to the Talking Tigers podcast, only from the Auburn Sports Network.
Hey Auburn family, Coach Freeze here. Football season is upon us, and it's time to get your game day snacks ready. I'll be reaching for Golden Flake potato chips and pork rinds this season, especially the Sweet Heat pork rinds and dill pickle potato chips. Those are my favorites. Golden Flake has been a part of our game day for over 67 years. Whether you're hosting on game day or looking for something to satisfy your halftime hunger cravings, make sure to grab your favorite Golden Flake snack, War Eagle.
Final segment, 8A 2025 from Jordan-Hare Stadium. Just about 4 minutes or so left. Guys, final thoughts and thing you're most excited about seeing when this team takes the field in late August out in Waco against Baylor.
Man, our time went by fast.
Sure did.
I would just say I like to see us start fast this year. And going to Baylor is going to be a tremendous game. They have 15 returning starters, and so it's not going to be easy. And I think that game kind of sets the tone for the rest of the season if you're Auburn.
Ronnie?
For me, I'm going to give the fans some love. Obviously, as you talk about the different sports, we are in everything school. The support has been nothing short of magnificent. Just because, we look at our basketball team, how they finished up. Proud of those guys. Talk about baseball, softball. We got a new coach with women's basketball. But the support that people saw in Atlanta from Auburn and how we show up, I'm excited about that part of it. For Waco, seeing these men and women show up and support. Who's here today, right? Like you were pointing out. I'm excited about that, and hopefully we give them something to enjoy, especially from the football side. But just want to appreciate them and thank them for I think their support of Auburn athletics and just being able to do what they do. I think it's not overlooked and it's appreciated very much.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I am impressed by the crowd today. When some heard that, all right, well, it's not a traditional game, it's an 8-day practice, and, well, how interested are people going to be? Well, the Auburn family's pretty interested by the looks of this stadium today.
You bring in top talent in a recruiting class. People are excited to see some of these young guys in action, and they heard all about the transfer portal and the receiver room this year. So people want to see it in person. They don't want to wait 6 months.
Yeah.
So and it's a beautiful day. As Andy would call it, not a cloud in the sky. It's a great day.
He coined that phrase, I think. He actually he's not even close. Andy, what are your thoughts? You've joined us back in the booth now. What was it like down on the field? And give us your kind of closing thoughts on A-Day.
Oh, for a day that there wasn't going to be a game, there's a lot of energy down there. And it was good to see some of these guys come back, the Willie Andersons and Damian Craig down there. It was good to talk with Luke Deal and Dorian Mausi, whose careers at Auburn, at least right now, are complete. What I look forward to is tonight, Auburn-LSU, Game 2, 6 o'clock start. I look forward to seeing what Auburn does in the transfer portal for this football team moving forward. I think it probably needs to sign a couple guys up front defensively. We heard basically Hugh Freeze mention that. And I look forward to Auburn basketball and what it does in the portal because it's going to need to sign some bigs as well.
Yeah, a lot. A lot is going to happen over the next 5 months before we're all together in Waco.
In Waco. I know you can't wait to get out there to the silo, right, Brad?
Of course.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's hope Pettiford comes back.
Sure. Well, let's get on that. Let's,
I think Jason got something that he can probably help participate in that, right?
Maybe.
Oh, that spot is taken care of. It's just, if he's going to be a first-round draft pick in basketball, he's probably gone.
It's true.
But then if he's going to be projected in the second round, then he's probably coming back.
By the way, guys, we haven't discussed at all the giant video board that's going up in the south end zone right there. It's
giant.
It is huge.
Yeah.
It is huge. Yeah. It's massive. It's going to help the view here in the booth a little bit.
It will be enormous for us to be able to look at that next year or that next season. And then in the seasons to come, there will be premium seating there. There's going to be other space available not only on game day but year-round to campus. So
it's a long-term build.
Yeah,
when you see it this fall and it's just the video board, it will look a little incomplete. It's being built in stages and in phases with a plan, but that's certainly a nice addition here. And again, just we kind of close with one of the thoughts we had to open it up. Anytime we're all together talking football inside Jordan-Hare Stadium in April on a beautiful day, that's a reason to be thankful. So, guys, we've appreciated it very much. Thank you for your time, and hope you have a fantastic summer. We'll see you soon. War Eagle.
War Eagle.
All right, General Manager of the Auburn Sports Network is Ben Harling. Reminder, softball coming up at 3:30 today. You can hear that on the Auburn Game Day app. You can hear baseball tonight on the app as well. Watch on In the Booth on the Auburn Tigers YouTube channel or affiliates throughout the state. Broadcast 5:45, first pitch at 6 o'clock. For Andy Burcham, Jason Campbell, Ronnie Brown, I'm Brad Law. War Eagle from Jordan-Hare Stadium. Thanks for listening to A-Day.
You've been listening to exclusive coverage of A-Day presented by Golden Flake, the favorite salty snack of the Auburn Tigers. Today's radio coverage has also been brought to you by Bonnie Plants, proud sponsor of Auburn University and Auburn Athletics. Tune in later today for a top 10 baseball showdown as number 9 Auburn hosts number 3 LSU at Plainsman Park. Coverage begins at 5:45. Auburn football season begins in 20 weeks. August 29th at Baylor. Auburn football is a presentation of the Auburn Sports Network, a division of Playfly Sports.